I just thought to myself, how would I want to live if I was in that situation? That's how it came up. I mean, I knew nothing about a tiny home, anything. I mean, once we started putting these up, it's like everybody's starting to kind of, oh, what made you tiny houses? I don't know. I know that's how I would like to live that way if I was that, and that's why these men do so well here.
For Carmen Guidi, however, building the Second Wind Cottages, a small collection of 9 tiny houses on his property in Neufeld, just 5 miles outside of Ithaca, was divinely inspired after goodwill trips to Honduras and Haiti. The auto body repair tech created the cottage village as a nonprofit, and private donations and volunteers helped build each $15,000 home. Unlike a shelter or group home, Guidi says the cottages meet a crucial need for the homeless.
They give the men a level of dignity that they can't get anywhere else. They take ownership, which is very important, I think, to take an ownership. Even though they don't own the houses, they still take an ownership. They take pride around the surroundings. Here's the thing: they want to stay in community. They want to be in community, but yet they want to have their own time too, in their own space.
The cottages are like autonomous studio apartments, allowing each resident to regain a sense of normalcy with their own kitchen, their own bathroom and living space, and some even keeping pets in their home. So far, Second Wind only serves homeless men, although Guidi hopes to expand the project to include individual housing for women and children at a separate location. While he's not a professional social worker, Guidi has been reaching out to and building relationships with Ithaca's homeless for years.
A lot of the times when people are put into the program type models, they feel like a project. Yeah. They feel like a project, and the men here, they don't feel like a project. They're just, yeah.
Just off of Ithaca's main commercial boulevard, behind a popular multinational discount department store, is a field of overgrown underbrush and a thicket of trees. It's become an unofficial campground. Most people might not notice it at all, but to the homeless of Ithaca and the greater Tompkins County, it's well known as the jungle. Guidi makes frequent trips to the area.
They don't know there was someone staying under that tarp. I don't know if there's anyone there now or not.
He says most of the relationships he's built start with him offering food or supplies, and eventually he's able to convince some to move into the Second Wind cottages.
And that's Bill's spot down there.
He says one of the most shocking things he's learned is how many homeless people simply cannot afford to live any other way.
He works every day. He works every single day.
The jungle may look desolate and bleak, but that's not where all of the homeless in Ithaca find themselves. Nels Bond, director of Ithaca's Urban Renewal Agency, says the city successfully houses most of their homeless. The unsheltered population, including those who live in the jungle, are only about 15 to 20 people.
I think we pretty well know most of our homeless persons by first name and understand their needs a little bit better because we have the advantage of being so small. Mm-hmm. The disadvantage is once we fill up our emergency shelter or our Magnolia House project, we don't have any more room. There's just a limited capacity.
As a smaller city, Ithaca has about 40 emergency shelters, one new shelter called Magnolia Project for women and children, and about 100 permanent supportive housing units. Bond says the city is supportive of Guidi's Second Wind project, but addressing the issue means more than just a roof over their heads and food on the table.
Building a facility by itself probably won't solve all the needs because people come with a lot of issues that they have to work through. They've worked their way down to homelessness, they need to work their ways back out of homelessness and success. So the support services is always an area where there's not enough funding to really address the need, in our opinion.
Everything from addiction to mental health to job training and family crisis services are all offered to people in need through state and federal agencies. And Bond says Guidi has begun to work with them to better serve the Second Wind residents.
Carmen has taken, with Second Wind Cottages, has really taken it on himself and internalized a lot of the challenges that an organization would have. But I don't think he's done it by himself. I mean, there has been support from other groups working with him, and I think he's open to that and has learned that there's some good resources out there, but working through state and federal funding processes is laborious for somebody who's not interested in the paperwork side of it.
Both men agree that for anyone to begin to address homelessness in a metropolis like New York City or in smaller cities upstate like Ithaca, it first has to begin with affordable housing for everyone. According to the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, which offers housing and support services, Governor Cuomo is currently proposing a 5-year, $20 billion investment. Half will go to build 100,000 units of affordable housing across the state, and the other half will be used to build out the state's supportive services, and 20,000 beds to go with them. As for the second wind cottages, Guidi is already working on adding 9 more with the main house that can accommodate some of the state services that are needed. So far, there is no timeline on how long each resident can stay, and the longest have been there for 3 years. The city of Ithaca has also helped Guidi attain rental funds for the men, but even as they expand, the second wind cottages already has a waiting list of almost 30 people. In Ithaca, I'm Jenna Flanagan for the Innovation Trail.